Welcome. I'm Chelsea Schwartz.
I'm Sarah Carey.
And this is Streaming Wars, the show that helps you wade through the endless sea of streaming content. And joining me from this point forward, Sarah is always going to be by my side. I'm super excited to have her here. So let's get into what happened this month in all of the streaming goodness. First of all, looking ahead for the show, who do you think is going to win this month?
Looking ahead for personally or for like the war we're about to discuss?
So the war we're about to discuss for this month of May that just passed, who do you think won?
I think it's Netflix. I think it's
you think
Netflix.
It's Netflix? Mm-hmm. All right. I honestly, you know what? I might have to go with you on Netflix. There was a lot of great nonstop content from everybody this month, but I think Netflix definitely had the premium crop. Where did you spend the most time this month?
Netflix, which is why I say it.
Okay. That's actually
by Hulu.
Okay. That's interesting. I think personally, I spent the most time combined between Paramount Plus because of Younger being in a new season right now. And then while I was there, I'd be like, oh, might as well watch I Love Lucy and Frasier and Taxi and all the other things that are there. Or I was going to Disney Plus because I'm sort of having an MCU marathon that I never really planned. And it's just kind of happening.
Me too. I'm doing the same exact thing. I was like, MCU May.
Nice. So I'm going to give 3 points to Paramount Plus and 3 points to Disney Plus just for keeping my attention this month.
I love it. I'm going to hop on with you and give 3 points to Disney Plus because you remind me of my MCU marathon I'm doing, which I just watched Thor last night. And I'm going to give 7 points to Netflix for always keeping me like entertained.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Well, let's get into this month. We're going to start off strong with the new season of Camp Cretaceous this year. I've talked about it a lot on this show. If you're not watching it, this isn't just an animation for kids. It is an animation for adults and anyone that loves dinosaurs, anyone that loves Jurassic Park. And this season, oh Lord, oh my goodness. I was on the edge of my seat, gripping my couch, just like, what is going to happen? And I've never felt that way about an animated show in my life. It is so good. So good. 10 points for Camp Cretaceous. Like, I've never been full of anxiety like that on a cartoon.
I love how much you love it. Like, you're selling it to me. I might just have to watch it.
It's so good. And speaking of Camp Cretaceous, so then, and animations, the new season of Rugrats is here on Paramount Plus. It's an all new original, bringing back Rugrats, same voice cast. It's great. The first episode, I thought I was watching Camp Cretaceous. It was just a different animation style. And I was like, did the Rugrats go to Camp Cretaceous? Like, are they in camp? Is that what's happening? So that was really amusing to me.
That's awesome. I heard the new Rugrats was coming. I saw a trailer for it, and then I was totally turned off because of the animation. I don't love the turn that these cartoons are taking where everything looks CGI, nothing looks like it's hand drawn. And I'm sure it's cheaper or easy. I'm not sure, like less time consuming. But as a person who grew up with hand drawn, amazing animation on Nickelodeon and Disney,
it feels like a lost art form and one that didn't need to be lost. There's something so magical and majestic about those 2D hand drawn animations. And honestly, it feels too unreal. Like, I almost feel like it's more believable in 2D, and the 3D takes me out of it a little bit.
Absolutely. And they did this with Care Bears, and they did this with SpongeBob. They're like, I'm just like, guys, look, I know a baby's got to do what a baby's got to do, but I am not going to watch Rugrats.
You know, I have to say that with SpongeBob, it's probably the only time that it didn't bother me. I was like, Care Bears, I'm really upset with them ruining Care Bears, personally.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Mess with like a 2D style. Don't get into this CGI 4D weirdness.
Junior, did you ever thought about Rugrats?
Look, guys, it was cute. Could have been a little better. I saw the first few episodes, and I could see the nostalgia. It has all the original voice actors, and I could appreciate it for what it is. It's a new generation of kids that didn't grow up with it like we did. So, I mean, it was all right. It wasn't the greatest, per se.
All right. Well, the first 6 episodes are available now on Paramount Plus for those of you that have the service, and the rest are coming at a later date. I'm going to give Rugrats 3 points. 3 points to Paramount Plus.
I'll be nicer. I'm going to give it 5.
And I'm not going to take any away just because I don't like animation style. I don't think that's fair.
All right. Fair enough. Speaking of beloved things that we know and love, Disney has brought a new film out. It's called Cruella. A lot of you have heard of it. It's an origin story, so it's not a remake of 101 Dalmatians, and it's available on Disney Plus, or you can go see it in your local cinema. I highly recommend seeing it, maybe both ways. Go see it in the cinema, and then buy it now so you can continue to watch it, because personally, I need to watch it like 14 more times.
I absolutely loved it. I did the same as you. I watched it in the theater and I've watched it at home, and I was thoroughly entertained the entire time.
Now, I do want to address something that I'm seeing online from people. There is this whole movement of people that are like, do not watch Cruella. She is all about anti like dogs and animal cruelty, and she kills puppies, and we should not be supporting this. And everyone's just jumping on this bandwagon of like, I refuse to see this movie. If you are an animal lover and you are worried that you're going to witness animal cruelty in this movie, let me ease you right now. It's not happening. There's no animal cruelty in this movie. In fact, spoiler alert, Cruella loves dogs. She loves them.
She does. She has her own dog. Jasper and Horace have Wink, who I feel stole the entire movie.
Absolutely.
The Baroness has 3 Dalmatians. You got to set up that weirdness somehow.
Yeah, definitely. I was like, but other than that, the fashion, obviously, we knew the fashion was going to be phenomenal. The costume designer, Jenny Bevan, who's won several Oscars, she designed 47 looks for Emma Stone and 33 looks for Emma Thompson that are shown in this movie. And that's just on the 2 actors. That doesn't even talk about the actual fashion lines and everything. Like, whoo, doggy.
The fashion's so incredible. I want them to just put every outfit in a Disney costume museum, so then I can go, I can be jealous of how tiny everyone is, and then I can just look and be in awe of these masterpieces.
I mean, I love that idea, but I also want to put on the outfits.
Fair. We need like a Hot Topic to come out with a line or something.
I mean, Hot Topic did have a great collaboration with Her Universe that has some incredible pieces, including an actual jacket that is literally the jacket that she wears that they have remade. It's amazing.
Oh,
yes.
Okay. I'm going to get in my car and I'm just going
to. She's like, I'll be back in like an hour. You continue the show. It'll be great. So I personally, I'm going to, because this movie is set in 70s punk London and it's so phenomenal, I'm going to be a little punk in points right now. I'm going to give 11 points. I'm going to 11 with Cruella.
Oh, turn it
11
up.
points to Disney Plus. Turning it up to 11.
I love that. Can I join you in this punk land? I'm going to give Disney Plus 11 points. This is the best Disney origin movie I have seen, I think, in ever. I hated Maleficent because I don't like how much they changed her story.
Yep.
I know how much like people were worried about, like they're basically turning into PETA because of the dog thing. And as you've said, that's not an issue here. And I love that this is much more of a nature versus nurture story and accepting who you actually are instead of wearing a mask and pretending to be someone else. And
yes, absolutely.
I think that's great.
Yeah, I love how much she owns exactly who she is. I even love the fact that like when she is Estella, she has this hair, like similar hair, and they don't worry about her frizz or anything, and they're just rocking it in the movie. I was like, are we about to normalize frizzy, wavy hair? Because I am here for that.
Like, I mean, the 90s are here, the 80s are next. I'm just saying.
Totally. So yes, we both highly recommend that you go and watch Cruella. Support the film industry by seeing movies again. Like definitely. And that's it. We could talk about Cruella for hours. I know we could, but let's move on to Girls5eva. Mm-hmm. Girls5eva is now on Peacock. This is a show about a girl group in the 90s that they're has-beens. Let's just say it. And they're getting a second chance because people are sampling their song on TikTok and various places. And people are like, oh, remember this group from the 90s? And they're like, can we come back and be a thing again? I have to say this first season was enjoyable. It's humorous, especially if you have any connections to the music industry whatsoever. There's little things in there that you will really appreciate. I don't know if we need a second season, but I also wouldn't mind a second season.
So as someone, this is fun time with Sarah. I used to be in a girl group in the 90s. So when I saw this was coming out, I was like, this is me. This is my life. You have one hit song. I'm going to say hit very small It was a hit in Florida. And then, you know, the future and the kids of TikTok and the random sampling can bring you back. I love Tina Fey, and I just thought like each character was very distinct. I was kind of weirded out by the fact that they killed one of them. But, you know,
yeah, especially because they killed the best one of them.
Yes.
Ashley Park, we love you. I love you and Emily Paris. Love you and everything you do.
Yeah. And I thought it was really pretty solid, but I feel like it just never kind of crossed the threshold of greatness for me. Does that make sense?
Yes, that's exactly how I feel. Like I enjoyed it thoroughly. It was fine, but it's not a show that I'm jumping off the beams going, everyone go watch this. And I'm not like chomping at the bit for another season, but I'd enjoy it. I would, if there was another season, I'd watch it.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's entertaining enough.
Yeah. So 5 points to Peacock for Girls5eva.
3 points to Peacock because I'm not quite crossing that halfway threshold.
Fair enough. We're going to jump over to HBO Max, who we haven't brought up yet. HBO Max has a new comedy starring Jean Smart called Hacks. This is about sort of going in line with Girls5eva, a washed up comedian that is still trying to hang on to something to save her career. And at the same time, she's now hired a writer who has crossed the line in current modern day through social media. There is some joke she put out that was not taken the right way, and she's basically about to lose her career. And the two of them are kind of working through how do we be relevant and still have a career together. And it's delightful. It's surprisingly entertaining. I definitely I went into this being like, this will be fun. I like Jean Smart. Okay, low expectations. And they're dropping 2 episodes a week, and I'm anxiously awaiting each episode. Like, it's a really thoughtful comedy. And I'm going to give 7 points to HBO Max for this.
That's great. I actually hadn't heard of it until you brought it up to me. And because I haven't touched HBO Max this month. Why? I don't know. It just didn't happen. So I'm going to give -2 points to HBO Max for not putting out anything that I wanted to see.
Yeah, I understand. Well, let's jump over to a platform that you've been spending a lot of time on. We'll go back to Netflix and let's talk about Jupiter's Legacy, because I got some thoughts, but what are yours?
Oh, I have a ton. I felt like this show could have been so great. I was hoping for like an updated, more adult kind of, maybe this is why, like CW superhero show with some like family drama, some of like, but it gave me none of that. All it did was give me this like choppy cut up like every episode with this backstory, which isn't bad. Like all the pieces were good. They were just put together really incorrectly. I wish that we would have either just gotten the backstory as the first season or even as like 1 or 2 episodes, and then we could go forward, because we never spent enough time with anyone in any episode to actually care.
Yes, thank you. Oh my God. Okay, so Jupiter's Legacy is Miller World, which is supposed to be to what Marvel is to Disney. This is supposed to be to Netflix. This is going to be their superhero world. I'm all for that. Let's have more superheroes and world building. There was too much world building. You have to allow us to sink our teeth into something so that we maintain interest, because I just lost interest. Like 3 episodes in, I was like, the character that I was most excited about, I haven't seen in 2 episodes now. You're telling me a whole bunch of bits and pieces of people I barely know anything about, and I don't care, and I'm bored. And
exactly.
I think this was a massive fail, and I'm actually taking away 7 points from Netflix.
Yeah, I will agree with you. I'm going to take away 5 points. Because you heard about Star Fox. Where is he? You get all this backstory. They have a daughter who's got all this trauma. Why? You have the son who's trying to live up to his father. Cool. Like it was just, then you have all these like random reveals, like, oh, that's that person's son. Oh, yeah. This is the bad guy. And you're like, I don't give a shit.
Like I was literally like shouting at the screen being like, Marvel didn't put everyone from Endgame into one movie right away. Like that's not, like, build stories, like maybe have little individual movies or seasons about certain groups of them, like not the whole world at the same time. And right. I'm with you. The backstory, I will give it 2 points, 2 positive points to Netflix. The backstory was phenomenal. I loved the backstory, and I would like to see more of that backstory.
Right, but I would have loved it to be just its own standalone episode or 2 and not interwoven really choppily.
Yeah, the cutting, the editing was not, no.
And if this show is supposed to be about Jupiter's legacy, we need to learn about the kids who are trying to change the ways of the superhero like union.
Mm-hmm. It also felt like a very poor version of The Boys. Like it felt as edgy as The Boys, but without the full vulgarity. You know, like
Yeah,
it was
I
like
get
the
that.
Disney version of The Boys. Like, I don't know. All right, moving over to Amazon Prime Video. There's another show that came out that was also an interesting sort of sci-fi, sort of like metaphysical show called Solos that came out. It's 7 parts right now. It's an anthology series. Incredible cast. I mean, incredible cast. And each person basically has their own episode. So Anne Hathaway's in one episode, it's just her. It's basically like a 30-minute monologue. And then you've got Anthony Mackie just in an episode with himself. Then there is a duo that's Morgan Freeman with Dan Stevens, and it's just so basically Solos is kind of digging into what it's like to be a human and go through the human experience and what connects us all together in interesting ways. It deals with a lot of mental health and other like personal who am I and what matters kind of issues. And it's out there. I think, especially because I feel like this show came at a perfect time for 2020 and COVID, where it was basically, oh, let's just film with one actor at a time and keep the set safer. That this was a really interesting concept for them to do that. And I don't know if they were planning to do this show long before COVID or if this was born out of necessity.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see if more parts come to it in the future. Right now, it feels like you don't need to watch all of it together. It's a little slow moving, even though the acting's phenomenal and the thoughts behind it are great. It didn't quite hit the mark for me. But if you love those actors, you also don't need to watch all of the episodes to understand them. You can just watch one at a time. So go in and just watch Dan Stevens if you want, or whoever might grab your boat. You know, I say Dan Stevens because he's my Disney prince. For those that don't know, he was Beast and Prince Adam and Beauty and the Beast, and forever will be my favorite Disney prince.
He's Matthew in Downton Abbey.
Exactly. He's been in amazing things. The man who invented Christmas, all sorts of Legion. He was in Legion, Marvel. Come on. So Amazon, for casting, I'm giving you 7 points. For execution, I'm taking away 3.
All right.
Yep. And speaking of well casted and beautiful content, back to Netflix. Halston. Halston is a new Ryan Murphy limited series. It is, I believe, 6 episodes. It's very short. It's just Ewan McGregor, who plays Halston, the fashion designer that most people are aware of. If you're not, go look him up. Halston started as making like pillbox hats and became this international phenomenon, designing all sorts of clothing. And it's a personal story about what it was like to be Halston and be gay during those times and be a fashion designer and the competition and like everything that tolls on you and how you deal with that. And obviously, if you like fashion, like if you're watching Cruella for the fashion, go watch Halston as well. If you've enjoyed anything Ryan Murphy has done, which is a lot of the stuff on Netflix, like Hollywood, Prom, like all of that stuff, you're going to like this. Ryan Murphy knows what he's doing. He knows how to create a show. So I'm going to give 5 points to Netflix for Halston. I actually really enjoyed it. I know, Junior, I think you fell asleep watching it though. So if you want to give your thoughts.
Yeah, I fell asleep. I mean, it was cool, like kind of seeing like he's the guy that gave all the hats to Jackie O and stuff, you know, that was cool. But then like by the 3rd episode, I was just like, this is cool. You know,
it does become a little repetitive and a little slow in episode like 3 and 4. And then it picks back up again.
The acting's good. I like the girl that played Liza Minnelli.
Yes, she was phenomenal. I almost forgot to mention that. Like literally, she performs Liza's classic number about how it's Liza with a Z, not Lisa with an S.
That was a good scene.
Ah,
Fun.
Yeah. Other than that, man.
Yeah, I've only seen the trailer, and I love Ewan McGregor, and I love a good character piece, but it doesn't seem quite like a show for me, which is fine. Not everything is for everyone. But isn't Halston, he's also the guy who brought like couture into like, I'm going to say JCPenney, but you know what I mean? Like he made couture.
He did have a JCPenney line. Yeah.
So like you could look like you belong on the runway, but just going out on a night with the girls, like that kind of a thing.
He was one of those first designers that started making these Target collections and everything more accessible to everybody. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, Ewan McGregor looks like he does a phenomenal job. I do love, I have a love-hate relationship with Ryan Murphy. I'm just going to put it that way, because I think he puts out great stuff and then he leaves and then it all goes to garbage because he's working on everything else that he cares about.
Yes, he does have his hand in a lot of cookie jars at the same time.
Yeah. So, and when you say it's only 6 episodes, but it lulls in the middle, it shouldn't lull in the middle with 6 episodes. Okay.
Fair. That is very fair.
So I'm taking away 2 points from Netflix just for that.
And I'm going to add one more point to Netflix for the Liza Minnelli because I forgot about that. And yes, the Liza was fantastic.
That's fair.
More Netflix content. You and me both watched a movie called Blue Miracle.
Yeah.
I found this movie to be extremely middle of the road. It's family friendly. It's nothing special until the ending, where I was literally just crying with happiness tears that I was not expecting. I did not realize I was that invested in this story. And it was really surprising and awesome. I'm glad I stuck through it. What about you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I agree with you. It was very middle of the road. When I was trying to like talk about it, I was like, well, it's this lovely story. It's based on a true story. It's kind of like Miracle, right? Or the movie with Mark Wahlberg where he goes to audition for the Eagles. I cannot remember the name of that at the moment. But it's very much like, this is the story. This is just kind of what happens. And then here's your glorious happy ending that you know is coming. So it's like, if you want a lovely family movie that just makes you feel good and might make you cry, that's this. Invincible. That's it. It's like Miracle, the hockey movie, or like Invincible, the movie with Mark Wahlberg where he becomes an Eagles player, right? It's just a story that kind of happens. You watch it step by step, you know where it's going, but it still gets you in the feels.
Yeah, definitely. And so, I mean, 3 points to Netflix. So it's not a film that I say you need to rush out and go watch right now. But like, if you're just looking for something easy, even the background while you multitask, you know, feel good, you're not going to be too anxiety filled or anything like that. It's great.
Exactly.
And honestly, I enjoyed learning that it was a true story and learning all about that casa and what they do for endorphins, you know, it was amazing.
Yeah. I knew nothing about that. And I think that's great.
Absolutely. All right. Now's the exciting part of the show where we start to show off all of the ways we've been bribed by various people. No, I'm just kidding. We're never bribed. We give honest opinions, but we do sometimes get some gifts. And so we have a few shows to talk about that also came out this month that we got some fun items for, starting with one of my favorite things ever, High School Musical, the series. Oh my goodness.
Look
the
at that
Wildcats are back. Yes. And they sent this amazing jacket. It's even, I love the sleeve, even has a little Disney Plus on the sleeve. But
please tell me you wear that and then just do the dance all the time.
I mean, I wear High School Musical clothing year round anyway. So it's never left me since the first movie. But yes, this is wonderful. What do you think of the season so far?
So far, sorry, I was doing the dance. I was distracted by the jacket. So far, I think it's very cute. I was very worried that it was gonna, be overshadowed a little bit by the Olivia Rodrigo and her boyfriend drama with Sabrina Carpenter. Isn't it funny? I know the girl's names. I don't know his name.
Hilarious. Joshua Bassett.
Yes.
Yeah.
So because her album Sour came out, which is it's so great. I love it. And so I was worried a little bit, but I think so far the season's very strong. I like the way they've set up the competition with the other school. I like the way with the shows. And with her dropping the bomb of going to a new school and kind of figuring out the high school life and the high school drama. Yeah. And that's what I love about it. It's like The Office for kids.
I also love that we didn't do a cliche thing of be like, okay, so High School Musical, the series performed High School Musical in school. So this new season, they'll do High School Musical 2. No, we're doing Beauty and the Beast, which I thought was a great choice for them to move into.
Absolutely.
I also want to say they also sent me this karaoke microphone, which is really amazing. And it even says High School Musical, the series on the microphone.
High School Musical. Could I get this back?
Right? Way too much fun. So now I can sing all of the Beauty and the Beast songs alongside them. But what I'm curious about as we get into the season is, are we doing Beauty and the Beast, the animation, Beauty and the Beast, the live action, or the Broadway? Because they all have a different set of songs. And personally, Evermore is my favorite song, and I'd really like to see them do it. So I'm curious for that. I also really liked that they introduced basically a Sharpay, like a girl that's like, I am great at everything. And then they just knocked her down and said, that's not how we do things here. You don't just make fun of people. Nope, exactly. Sorry.
So good.
So good.
It's so good.
The values that they teach just make me
know.
so happy.
Disney Plus, I'm giving you 5 points because I'm loving this season so far.
I mean, I'm a wildcat for life, so I won't give it 10. It's not worth 10 yet. It's pretty good so far, but the first episode was a little like, like we already knew. You made a giant publicity stink that they were doing Beauty and the Beast this season. Why did we spend the entire first episode pretending we didn't know that was coming? Like, so I'm gonna give it 8 points. 8 points to Disney Plus for High School Musical, the musical, the series. But speaking of Disney related shows, Marvel's M.O.D.O.K. Everyone was so upset because Falcon and the Winter Soldier had such a gap until Loki and we weren't getting any new Marvel content. No, you were wrong, because Marvel's M.O.D.O.K. is now available on Hulu. So that came out this month. Junior, I know
what that is.
You don't even know what M.O.D.O.K. is. Hilarious. I know Junior's also watched it, but I've got a fun box.
It's so good, Sarah.
Okay, tell me all about it.
Patton Oswalt is M.O.D.O.K.
This is M.O.D.O.K.
Yeah, he's like this villain that he's like another. What do you compare him to?
I honestly thought he was the brain from Ninja Turtles when I saw this.
Okay, so a lot of Marvel stuff wasn't what inspired Ninja Turtles. Like the hand in Iron Fist is the foot in Ninja Turtles, you know? So this is it is similar. It is.
Imagine like a robot chicken.
Okay.
With language and a lot of blood.
Okay.
But it's Marvel.
Okay.
It's really funny. And there's even like one episode where they get like the B squad of like Avengers characters. And it's hilarious. And then an Avenger dies. You can't go wrong.
Especially like if you're a huge like Robot Chicken fan, if you enjoy that kind of humor and animation style, you're gonna like M.O.D.O.K. The voice cast, besides Patton Oswalt, is amazing. Like Ben Schwartz is in it. I love Ben Schwartz dearly. But also this box. Look, I've been recruited to work at AIM. It's so amazing. Cool. I just love that it's like a gift package of like your first day. There's a lanyard for like your first day at work. There's a stress ball, coffee, even a little like notebook. It's fun.
That's really cute. I love that.
And there's
well executed marketing.
It's like 8 episode shows.
Something like that. Yeah.
So it's and they're short. They're like, you could literally binge it in a few hours. They're like 20 minutes long. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so helping us fill in that gap between Falcon and Winter Soldier and Loki, I'm going to give Hulu 7 points because they deserve to be up on this board with everybody else for giving us a Marvel fix this month.
I'm going to give them 1 point and it's because of you guys for piquing my interest.
8 points.
Ooh, all right then. All right, well, speaking of other swag and cool things that have happened, we have had an incredible week here, both Sarah and myself, of doing all things Panic. Panic is now out on Amazon Prime Video.
Cameras are hard.
Yes. Amazon is now out on Amazon Prime Video. It is a teen suspense drama. We did a virtual escape room for it this week. That was so much fun. And Sarah even attended the LA premiere where she got this bag of goodies. You want to show us what all was in there?
Let's do it again. Okay, so we got this really, I can't do cameras, y'all. I'm having trouble.
No, you're fine.
This amazing bag. It's like a little burlap bag. And inside of it, we got this awesome blanket. Hold on, it's like stuff. Hold on. Hold, please. So much stuff.
All of the stuff.
It's
and not
heavy.
only did they get this stuff at the premiere, but they had like panic challenges where they had to like drink mystery drinks and stuff like that, which was in theme for the show.
It absolutely was. So this like really cool blanket that says panic
that blanket
on it.
Is epic.
It's so nice. Like the whole thing was like, because the show takes place in Carp, Texas, a very tiny town in Texas. So they went with a whole Texas theme, and it was like you were having a tailgate.
They even had Tex-Mex for the food, which made my Texas heart happy.
They gave me a igloo cooler with one of the panic symbols on it. This is great for my pool days coming up. My pool days. We had, it's like lots of big things. And then they also gave us like candies and a notepad and hand sanitizer and tattoos. It's just so fun.
They went all out. And if you weren't at the premiere, you got the virtual escape rooms. They opened up to the public. It starts like June 2nd or 3rd and goes for like 10 days. People, I think it's like panicexperience.com. and you can sign up and participate in these escape rooms yourself, which I think is so cool. This rollout feels like a traditional rollout that we haven't seen since before the pandemic. And it was kind of refreshing. I'm not going to lie.
It really was. And as someone who's been to a handful of these events pre-pandemic, this is my favorite one during pandemic as well as before. I just think that they've really killed it. We even had to exit through a corn maze, and they had they had actors there interacting with you the whole time. It was just like such a fun experience. As someone who loves escape rooms, and I have been missing them during this last year.
Me too.
I thought I've never done virtual, and this virtual one was so fun. I still needed all the brains of my friends. If it wasn't for them, I would never have gotten past the first clue. So I think Panic is killing it. And
I've actually done a lot of virtual escape rooms during the last year, and some done by Amazon, like the one they did for Comic-Con at Home for Hannah. That was awful. It was really awful. There was a lot of really bad virtual escape rooms in the last year. This felt like an actual escape room. Like I felt like I was doing something with my friends. It was kudos. Whoever designed that escape room, they get 10 points to that, whoever that was. 10 points for that team.
Just for that. And I think this, like, all this isn't for naught, because I personally love this series. Chelsea, I'm not sure if you watched the whole thing yet, but it's so good in my opinion. I think Amazon,
I'm not gonna lie, teen suspense dramas aren't normally my jam of any kind.
Fair.
But what I've seen of it, it is really well executed. Like it feels like 2 steps above Riverdale.
Yeah, I mean, and as someone who loves Riverdale, I actually agree with you. So like it's kind of where Riverdale used to be when it first started. It's these kids in this small town who play a game every year of the graduating seniors. And if you make it out, you win $50,000, which for them is very much life-changing money, but they use your fears against you, which is why we had to drink the drinks or eat the bugs and go through the maze. The acting is phenomenal, like the teen acting. And I know they're probably all in their 20s, but like the young adult acting is so much better now than it ever was with me growing up. And the way the story is told is intriguing and full of mystery. And that, unlike Jupiter's Legacy, the reveals matter. You know? So
how many points are you giving Panic?
I'm giving 10 points to Panic for this amazing rollout and the amazing show.
Yeah, I'm going to give them another 3 points for the rollout. Yeah, absolutely. All right, now it's time for us to move into some quick pops so we can wrap up the show and find out our winner. First of all, I just want to say that the new season of Lucifer, this is season 5B, so this is not the last season of Lucifer. Don't worry, more is coming, is now here. And I think this is the best written episode, not even episode, season that they have done yet. So another 5 points to Netflix I'm so just happy that you picked up this show when Fox canceled it. Thank you, Netflix.
I know.
Speaking of other Netflix news, Enola Holmes is getting a sequel. Yay! 3 points for that.
I loved it.
So good. They start production in September, so we probably got another year, but I don't care. We're getting a sequel. I'm excited. Bridgerton, which has now been renewed for season 2, 3, and 4. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. Is now also getting a spin-off series for the prequel of young Queen Charlotte. So all of your Bridgerton needs without Regé-Jean Page, because we're just never going to see him again, apparently. Tears.
Don't get me started. As someone who is reading the books currently, that annoys me to no end.
Yeah. It's also just like you just got a huge break in your career and you're just like, never mind. It's fine. I don't care. I don't need you. Bye.
I will not be surprised if he comes crawling back for season 3 and season 4, because I don't think this was a big enough break for him personally.
Yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, so we're getting a prequel. We've got 4 seasons to come. I'll give another 2 points to Netflix for the Bridgerton excitement.
Oh yes, me too. Oh, for 4 more seasons and a prequel, 5 more seasons, 5 points to Netflix. And I forgot to throw my 7 points on for Lucifer dropping because I'm so excited.
Also, and I'm sorry to do this to Netflix, I'm going to take away 3 points for losing Regé-Jean Page. So,
is that their fault though? Is that their fault?
It's not really their fault, but maybe they could have tried harder to keep him. I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, I'm just going to take away a bit of money, and he didn't want it. So,
but on some more celebratory things, May 27th. was the 1 year anniversary of HBO Max. 365 days of HBO Max is finally, like, I can't believe it's been a year of practically doing streaming wars. We basically started around when HBO Max started.
That's wild.
Yeah. So here's the craziest thing that I love that they did to celebrate their 1 year anniversary. So when HBO Max launched, the Friends reunion special was supposed to be available at launch last year in 2020, but it never got filmed because the pandemic shut everything down 2 months earlier. So they actually managed to whip up the Friends reunion special and get it ready for the 1 year anniversary. And so the Friends reunion special is here. Woo!
Look at how cool that sweatshirt is.
Oh my God, Box Lunch sent me this sweatshirt, not just for this moment that we could talk about, but because here's a fun fact for everyone. I got to be on the Friends reunion special. Oh my God. If you've been watching Streaming Wars, whenever we talk about what service we spend the most time on, I always talk about watching Friends on HBO Max. I got to be there for the reunion special. I'm just in the audience. You don't see me, but I was there. And it was such a big, epic moment because Friends, I went to a bar mitzvah growing up when I was 13 of a friend of mine, Jeffrey, who had a Friends themed bar mitzvah where you could take photos with the cardboard cutout cast, and like the party was in Central Perk. And it was so this show has been with me my whole life. So I'm so excited. I'm giving you 10 points HBO Max for a happy anniversary. And thank you, Box Lunch, for sending me this epic hoodie.
Love it.
Do you have any final thoughts on HBO Max?
You know, I thought HBO Max started really, really strong. I'm excited that they added themselves as a streaming system, but network system, same difference. But I feel like they lost a lot of steam throughout the year, and they just kept buying
losing content like Harry Potter and stuff. Although all of the Harry Potter movies come back in June.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Yeah, but they like lost content, bring back content. And I feel like they were just like buying up other things from other places, just trying to load up. So now we're here, and where's all my original stuff? HBO.
Well, again, a big part of that was the pandemic, and the pandemic stopped a lot of stuff happening. And like Gossip Girl, July 8th,
that's coming.
The new Gossip Girl is coming.
But I only use the pandemic so much as an excuse because Netflix kept pumping out original content. And that's because
Netflix has been doing originals a lot longer. Like HBO Max only decided in 2019, we're going to be a service and have originals. Netflix was building originals long before that point.
Right, but HBO had originals.
And the HBO stuff is on HBO Max.
Is on it, yeah, but they just didn't do it as well as Netflix. They weren't as smart. They don't shelve things.
Well, again, it's an old joke with Netflix of, hello, you're greenlit. Like Netflix has just been making nonstop content for a while, to where like part of their thing for this year was a new film every Friday. But you know, Disney is getting to that place. Disney had a 5-year plan for Disney Plus that by the end of 5 years, they too will be having that amount of content. It just takes a while to film things. It's okay.
It does. I hear it.
All right, looking at
anniversary, I'm taking away 3 points. Sorry, just because I need more new stuff. Need it.
All right, looking ahead, just a quick pop, and then we're going to find out who won this week. Loki drops on Disney Plus June 11th. So excited. Make sure you set an alarm. Season 2, Love Victor on Hulu, June 11th. Flack, Season 2 on Amazon, June 11th. And then The Mysterious Benedict Society, a film I've been looking forward to, is coming to Disney Plus on June 25th. So those are some big June moments to look forward to. Otherwise, let's find out who won for the best streaming service in May of 2021. And the winner is Disney Plus for a second month in a row, with Netflix in a close second. It wasn't really that close, but I'll give it to them. I think they would have had more points if Jupiter's Legacy had been better.
Agreed.
It's fine. Agreed. I was like, but congratulations to Disney Plus. We'll see if you can hold the title for a third month in a row next month. Otherwise, thank you for tuning in and watching Streaming Wars. Make sure you like, follow, subscribe, do all the things in all the places, and we'll see you again in a month.